Play is brought to you by Fraser Milner Casgraff.
All right, well, have you ever been at a liquor store, stared at hundreds of different wine labels, trying to look for a wine for a dinner party, but just don't have any clue what to get? Well, help is on the way. There's a new smartphone app that will instantly tell you everything you need to know about a wine. Here to tell us how it all works is Natalie McLean. She's creator of this wine app, and she's also an award-winning wine journalist and author of Red, White, and Drunk All Over, a book on wine. So, Natalie, how does this smartphone app work?
Well, it's kind of like a sommelier in your pocket. So I've taken all my wine reviews, thousands of them, over the past 12 years, and put them into an app and tried to make that really easy because, as you probably know, that the choice in wines, when you go and stand in front of a liquor store shelf, there's just thousands and thousands, so it can be overwhelming to a lot of people. So what you want is your little expert beside you. All you have to do is whip out your smartphone, point the camera at the barcode, and up comes the review of that wine, including my score, the tasting notes, food pairings, recipes. You're all set to go.
So, Natalie, this is a free app right now for Apple iPhone, BlackBerry, and you got, what, the Android version coming out next week?
That's right, yep.
Well, just to find the kind of rationale for all this, I mean, part of the fun is stumbling across wine, you know, taking a risk, taking a gamble, throwing down 20 bucks on a bottle and bringing it home to see if it's any good. Are you worried here we're going to lose our sense of kind of exploration in the local liquor store?
I don't think so. I think that the issue is more there's too much choice, and so there's still lots of room for discovery and trying new wines. What an app does is help you narrow down your choices. So if you know you like a full-bodied red, like a honkin' big Australian Shiraz, or if you just know you're having steak for dinner, what this app is going to tell you is a few choices within your price range that will work. So I kind of think of it as your electronic friend, your best friend in wine who's standing right beside you and saying, hey, how about that bottle and how about that bottle? Instead of you going, well, I don't know, do I like a castle in the middle distance or a fluffy squirrel on the label, you know?
Now, Natalie, has this been done anywhere else? I mean, I presume there's been other types of apps like this. What makes this one different?
Well, it's the first one in Canada, and so far the only one. There are other barcode scanning apps, but the big difference is that this app has Canadian wines in it, and it has what's in stock in Canadian liquor stores, and that makes a world of difference because it's great if you can find a wine, but if you have to drive to Cleveland to get it, that's not too practical.
Natalie, we want to take advantage of your expertise. Canada Day coming up. A lot of people, myself included, at the barbecue. What's some of the wine pairings out there for us barbecue enthusiasts that you're enthusiastic about for this long weekend?
Well, I'd certainly start off with Canadian wines. I mean, we have some spectacular wines. Our two biggest regions, of course, are Niagara and the Okanagan, but most of the other provinces also produce wines. So I would start in your own backyard, literally. So if we look at Niagara, you know, Rieslings go with grilled veggies or planked salmon, anything like that. You've got Pinot Noir, which will work equally well, or you can get into more robust reds for those sizzling burgers and steaks. The Okanagan produces really nice full-bodied red wines, and I think they're good for those heartier dishes. But we have such a range in Canada. I'd really start there.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah, it is indeed. So how's wine consumption doing in Canada in general, Natalie? Is it up, down, sideways? Where are we at in terms of drinking wine in this country?
To my great pleasure, it's going up steadily every year. Gallup and other survey companies report that wine consumption is not only on the increase, it's outpacing beer, and we're also trading up. So we're buying more expensive bottles. So we're gradually paying more per bottle. And I think that's a good thing because I think we're getting more adventurous. You know, Canada, like a lot of cooler climates, northern hemispheres, doesn't come from a history or a heritage of winemaking. You know, we have been making wine now, you know, for decades, but I'm talking about it as in comparison to France or Italy. We didn't grow up with it, but now our wine industries are so vibrant. I find that when your industry develops, your wine producing industry develops, your consumption goes right along with that.
Well, Natalie, again, books for the summer on wine. Let's say I really want to take the opportunity at the dock this summer to read up on my wines, become a bit of an expert myself. You got some recommendations. You have a book of your own.
Oh, sure. You can recommend that one. There's a wonderful book by a winemaker and writer in Prince Edward County, Ontario, called A Fool and 40 Acres. It's by Jeff Heinrichs. And it's his quest, his story about producing Pinot Noir against the odds in a very tough climate. But he's a marvelous, marvelous writer. If I look at new books coming out this summer, there's one called Summer in a Glass by Evan Dawson. He writes about the Finger Lakes region, which is, not a bad drive from here. It's a great read. But there's lots of other ones. I tend to go for the narrative-driven stories rather than the encyclopedias. Right. I find I don't fall asleep on the beach.
Natalie, let me ask you this real quick. I mean, lots of people think that you got to pay $100 for a really good bottle of wine. If you pay $15, it's going to be crap. What should you pay? Like a regular person going into a liquor store, what do you think you can pay and get a decent bottle of wine? You have to pay more, in other words.
You don't. I pride myself. I'm a wine cheapskate. I love finding the $15 bottle that tastes like $30, and I think you can these days. There's two reasons, or three actually. There's more competition, so prices are coming down. Technology is better, so better wines can be produced at a lower cost. And I think we're just learning more about what suits our region. So in Niagara, we know we do Pinot Noir and Riesling very well. And so when you put all those factors together, what we're getting is a lot of choice at a much lower cost. So no, you don't need to spend $50. I'd say, in the $15 to $20 range, you're going to get something fabulous, but you can go even lower than that and not be drinking, Chateau 2x4.
Good stuff. All right, Natalie, thanks very much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Rudyard and Paul. Happy Canada Day.
All right, same to you.
Cheers.
All right, same to you.